Good morning. I'd like to give everyone a very warm welcome and thank you for tuning into the first Liberty Traders Morning Update. Before we get into it today, I'd like to give a brief overview of how these broadcasts are going to work. In a typical week, I am going to upload a podcast shortly after the New York morning session on Monday and Friday. These broadcasts will consist of highly digestible information on current topics surrounding the markets, finance news, and stories on our most influential trading communities. These full broadcasts, about 10 minutes in length, will be uploaded to YouTube, and segments clipped from the full broadcast, typically a few minutes in length, will be uploaded to YouTube and shared on the Liberty Traders social media pages. My name is Jackson Strong, and I will be your host throughout this series. Without further ado, let's get started. I would like to start off this first update by acknowledging the elephant in the room. There's a lot of fear and tension in the markets right now. With the price action we've been seeing across all markets, it's clear that both technical and fundamental analysts don't have a very optimistic medium-term view of the market and the U.S. economy in general. With all of the information flooding our Twitter feeds, it gets quite difficult to make heads or tails of the endless stream of John Doe's latest market sentiment. One of the most popular takes to share right now is your perspective on the infamous recession. A lot of fresh traders and investors will realize that the definition of recession isn't exactly as clear-cut as it seems. Many experienced people in the market will subscribe to one perspective on what makes a recession and what lines the market has to cross to verify it. However, you will find that many of these individuals have different views, and each has its very important differences. Firstly, we will look at what seems to be the most popular answer to what qualifies as a recession. A recession has typically been recognized as 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline reflected by GDP. GDP stands for Gross Domestic Product. Real GDP is the inflation-adjusted measurement of how much all goods and services in the economy are worth. The Bureau of Economic Analysis has reported that in the past, the decrease in real GDP has reflected decreases in private inventory investment, exports, federal government spending, and state and local government spending, while imports, which are a subtraction of the calculation of GDP, increased. Now, although 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP is still a very popular opinion on what qualifies as a recession, there are many people who disagree, and it's not just retail traders and investors who have a differing opinion. The National Bureau of Economic Research, NBER, which officially declares recessions, says the 2 consecutive quarters of a decline in real GDP are not how it's defined anymore. The NBER defines a recession as a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy lasting more than a few months. Normally, this is visible in real GDP, but the NBER takes into account many other factors, including real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale retail sales. The definition of a recession is a lot looser. At the moment, the NBER has not declared that the economy has entered a recession, and by this definition, we won't be in one until they do. Debating these perspectives raises a very important question. If a majority of the population considers 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP to be the truest definition of a recession, does that simply make it true? There is no clear-cut answer to that question. But if you would like to stick to the way a recession is intended to be interpreted, you're going to have to wait for the NBER to say when. This week has been an especially interesting week for those in some of the largest trading communities. For a number of complex reasons, the widely known trading group Chart Champions, which has over 5,000 members, experienced a loss of some of its most influential traders recently. Many of these traders went off to work independently, having achieved much success in trading and not finding as much use in an entire community of ideas. Some of these traders have explored smaller groups and found their place with individuals that align more with their school of thought, and a few of these traders have banded together to create groups of their own, taking with them a substantial part of the community they previously belonged to. One of these new groups is Pro Traders Lounge. Spearheaded by notable traders that were previously a large part of Chart Champions, such as Trader R, IMI, and H. Paul, Pro Traders Lounge officially opened its waitlist yesterday, July 19th. The community experienced immediate growth on a large scale, amassing more than 1,000 Twitter followers and 450 waiting Discord members on the first day. There was a lot of excitement in the air about what could be coming in the next few days. But the question is, what was everyone getting excited about? I can offer my perspective as an active observer of the days leading up to the launch of Pro Traders Lounge. The first thing that the general public saw was drama. Aside from one chart and a couple of vague and cryptic tweets alluding to the creation of a new group, the first message retweeted by Pro Traders Lounge was a post by H. Paul. This tweet called out Chart Champions with a screenshot of the Chart Champions World Series of Trading squad results. The tweet tags many of the leaders of Chart Champions and reads, "It was a pleasure coming back to beat you all on your own team. After being ejected from CC for asking questions, H. Paul sends his regards from Pro Traders Lounge, home to the world's best traders." Opening on this note, there is no doubt that the leaders of Pro Traders Lounge are extremely confident in their ability to succeed as a company, as a community, and as individual traders. In order to find out why you, as a retail trader observing this interaction, should also be confident in their abilities, your first step may be to click on the Twitter page and review what information has been shared. You would find that, like many of the trading groups appearing recently, the tweets consist mostly of hindsight TA. In a search for reasons to trust these world's best traders, you may choose to visit their website next, looking for information as to what Pro Traders Lounge strives to do. Though at the time of recording this, you will not find that information on their website. The website has one page visible at the moment containing only their logo and a link to Discord. After joining this Discord, you are given access to a waitlist role with a handful of channels for members to talk among themselves while waiting for the actual features to be revealed. In these channels, there are a few small clues as to what the company will plan on providing. We know that a number of trading sessions will be live streamed by some traders every week. We know that you will have to pay a monthly subscription to spectate the community leaders' conversation behind the paywall, and we know that members who don't have already established relationships with these leaders actually know very little. A majority of the group is familiar with Chart Champions, and is entirely comfortable sharing their skeptical views of the company in the waitlist channels. This is the point in which I would share how Pro Traders Lounge management, features, and mission differs from Chart Champions. But we actually don't know that. I've reached out to the leaders of Pro Traders Lounge for a comment on their new company, but I have received no response. In fact, the official owner of the community is unwilling to share his identity. Placing your hard-earned money and trust in the hands of an anonymous business owner is a very risky choice to make. What is riskier is paying that anonymous owner for access to features that are only made clear after your purchase. I do not seek to disparage Pro Traders Lounge in any way, shape, or form. I would simply prefer to voice my concern about their levels of transparency and urge those building trading communities to put emphasis on the trust you have with your members. You may know the leaders of these communities on a level that the general public does not. If so, you are well informed to make a decision to trust that company. If you are not well informed about a company, it is best to do your research. If the research yields minimum results and does not satisfactorily answer your questions, it is best to think twice before paying an anonymous beneficiary. There's still time for Pro Traders Lounge to become more transparent before accepting membership payment. I sincerely hope they will choose to do so, as it would be the healthiest option for their company. Before we wrap up this update, I would like to thank everyone once again for supporting this podcast and encourage those who are finding out about Liberty Traders to check out our website, libertytraders.net. Liberty Traders offers excellent professional mentorship and education in trading commodities, cryptocurrency, stocks, and foreign exchange. If you would like to support this podcast, please hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this podcast with those interested in the world of trading. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll catch up again this Friday to debrief. Bye for now.